Questions, so many questions about publishing, creating, launching, what's going on with AI. Do you get an agent? Do you need an agent? So today what we're going to do is we're going to do a rapid fire Q&A about all these questions that came in for me last week on an event I did around content creation, publishing, writing, creativity, all the things. So I've got these questions in advance, and then I'll open up for questions. We're on all the socials: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Substack. And all you need to know before we get going is if you head to daniellelaporte.com/publish, you can see the event that I'm doing next week in Vancouver live. It's called Publish. It's for all forms of content creating and marketing. We have scholarships that are available. You can DM me. We're doing this on short notice because it's like inspiration. I got the beautiful space, and there's lots of momentum now around all the topics of writing. So let me just jump right into this Q&A because it is rich and juicy. So a little more context. These questions came from people who participated in my online Publish event last week. So this comes at the end of a few hours of a lot of discussion around all the different ways that I have published and I have created content and what's happening with online course creation. Is it really dying? Everybody says it's dying. I don't know if it's dying, but I think we need to be presenting our offerings in a new way. Okay, let me jump in. I'm going to start from the bottom of these questions. And let me see. David on my team. I have so many screens open right now. I won't be able to see questions come in from the other social media platforms, but I can check at the end when I do a pause. And David, you could drop questions into the core team channel. Okay, so question from Deborah. Can you share more about why you went the publishing direction you did for your new book? Yes, again, there's a lot of good intel in this choice. So my new book is called Bless and Release, and I am self-publishing it. And we are doing it in reverse. So we're coming out with that book first in audio and digital, and that's available now. And then it will come out in print in June. We are working with Ingram to get it distributed and to get it printed. And also going against convention, I'm coming out with a paperback version. Am I coming out with paperback first? I actually just saw it this morning. I was like, are we doing hardcover first or paperback? My feeling, the reason why traditional publishers want you to come out with a hardcover first and then a paperback later, there's a couple reasons. One is the aesthetics and taste, and your real devoted people love a hardcover book. It's like more of a keepsake. So there's that, and I'm all for the aesthetics of that. The second reason is you want to have two kicks at the can in terms of promotion. So if you come out with your hardcover for launch in September, next September, you come out with a paperback and you create another publicity opportunity around that, and you get on more shows and all of that. The reason I'm doing it this way, I will possibly never work with a traditional publisher again, unless someone wants to give me $1 million book deal and give me a fantastic publicity campaign that they're actually going to execute on, which mainstream publishers are classic for not really doing. Even I was just talking to like a mega New York Times bestselling author yesterday, and they got a big deal. And I think that book we were talking about hit the New York Times bestseller list. They had to do all the marketing themselves. This is the number one complaint with so many authors. So I figure I want to get to market as soon as possible because I always feel like, oh, my ideas are burning and they're relevant. And let's go. I want to own my own copyright. If I want to be making $10 a book instead of $1.25 a book, and I want to stay agile and creative in terms of marketing, which is why I'm launching Bless and Release as a self-publishing effort and doing it in reverse, audio and then print. And it's all consumable right now in my app. This is kind of a stroke of accidental genius. launching an app at the same time. So, one thing to know for every author, content creator listening right now is if you have your book on Audible, you're getting 20 cents, I think, and I might be overrating that. 20 cents per book from Audible. Are you serious? Jeff Bezos? That's all you're going to give your authors? You're getting 20 cents for every book that's held on Audible. Why don't you just focus on growing your list, grow your platform, show up consistently with people, and they purchase your book? Yes, 2 cents actually. I stand corrected. David's just corrected me. It's 2 cents per book on Audible. It's kind of disgusting, right? Okay, next question. There was a lot of questions I got from the last online publish event around marketing and list growth, but it really all goes back to list growth, building your list, building your list, building your list. So all of us who've been in this space of content creation, marketing for like more than a decade, we are always on the soapbox of the most powerful thing you can do to move your business forward, generate revenue, do efficient marketing is grow your subscriber list. You are building a direct relationship with people. You have you retain your power. So Instagram can mess with you because that's what the algorithm is built to do. The algorithm is built to mess with you. There have been days where, social media has gone down and it's cost people hundreds of thousands of dollars in terms of their online revenue and all of that. Build a relationship with your people, build your list, create great content, do it consistently. I know it just sounds like I'm oversimplifying the whole game, but that's really what it's about. Show up once a week with something valuable that's going to help get someone relieve their suffering or amplify their joy. Free utility, be generous. You can be redundant. If you are in the space of any form of content creation, whether you're writing novels or you're coaching or you're doing online classes or you're a teacher, do not be afraid of repurposing and redundancy in terms of content. So you're going to put the same thing up in Substack. You're going to take a paragraph of that and you're going to turn it into a carousel for your Instagram feed. The same thing you put in Substack is going to be the same thing. You can turn that into a special feature you're going to have every Monday morning on LinkedIn. Repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. Do not be afraid of redundancy. Grow your list. Grow your list. Build a relationship with your people. That's the best marketing campaign there is. Okay, from Christina. Without a website, how would you recommend to gather subscribers? Instagram, YouTube. How do we show you have value with a website? Well, let me jump to the future for a second with websites. Traffic on most websites is down because people can find everybody everywhere. They can find you on Instagram, Substack, Facebook, TikTok, all the other places. So there's that. You don't have to, there's not as much pressure on having a website that is providing value and material. You can provide value anywhere. There's lots of people who are building their businesses and the main thrust of their revenue is coming through social media channels. So don't worry so much about not having a website. So where to gather subscribers? Where do you want to gather subscribers? Do you speak in Substack? Is that the medium that works best for how you want to communicate and your audience? Then focus on Substack. If you like Instagram stories and you like the kind of the short form content, then you're right. We don't need to be, I know there's all this pressure to be multilingual in terms of multimedia, but really figure out what comes most naturally to you in terms of your content creation and find the social media platform that's the best fit. So, some of us just love the pure art of writing and crafting a beautiful paragraph. We don't even need a beautiful image to go with it. Should be hanging out on Substack. Some of us love just like the short form hey, I love this pencil. Let me tell you about it right away. And I want to create every day. And I've got something to say a couple times a day. Then you should be on TikTok or you should be on Instagram. Some of us love more produced videos that are very how to and instructional. You should be hanging out on YouTube. And then ideally, you're everywhere in one form or another. So you find your outlet that you resonate with and you feel strongest in, and then you repurpose on all the other outlets. Question. Do you have any experience? This is from Raniterets. Do you have any experience with She Writes Press? No, I don't. Second question. Do you have any advice about publishing a novel? And the third question is any recommendations on how to self market or promote a book? Any advice about publishing a novel? It's a whole different beast than working in nonfiction. And my observation, because I don't have experience with publishing fiction, is that it's its own community. And if you get yourself firmly entrenched in all the writers groups, then everything kind of fans out from there. You find out how people are promoting, the writers tend to help each other. And when I do these infusion sessions where I work one-on-one with people to build their business, look at manuscripts. If you want to know more about that, you go to daniellelaporte.com/infusions. And one of the questions I always offer to people is, show me 5 people online that you aspire to be that are in your industry, and then 5 more that are not in your industry. Like 5 of the writers that you want to be, 5 people on Instagram where they've got the following that you like. You love their branding. They're big, or maybe they're not big, but it's substance and it's quality. Everybody's always looking for a mentor. Now your mentors are visible. Everybody is doing show and tell with how they're growing their business. Watch the people you admire and how they grow. I know a great novel writer named Rhea Frey, Frey, and I've been watching how she consistently writes a new novel. It's usually kind of a bit of a mystery genre, chick lit. She's consistently dropping a novel every 2 years. She goes and speaks at the same bookstores, and she's got a really strong backlist with her publishers. She's always got another book deal in the can. Find the people that you admire the most, follow them as your mentors, watch how their businesses unfold. Any recommendations on how to self-promote a book? Watch the people. It all begins with your own list. Some of us, it's best for us to focus building our lists on Substack because our community is there. For some of us, it's best to focus on building our own list. So I have my own list for people who are interested in spiritual wellness with a side hustle of entrepreneurship and all things creativity. And, I've been doing this is like 15 years now, right? So my whole focus has always been and will always be growing my list, segmenting that list, and serving and selling to those particular segments. So here's an example. I'm doing this publish event in person in Vancouver on next Thursday, May 7th. Go to daniellelaporte.com/publish. You can DM me. We've got spots for 5 scholarships. One of the ways I'm promoting that event is I have a segmented list. So I send an invite to everybody in British Columbia, everybody in the state of Washington, everybody in Alberta, because it's driving distance. Get here for next Thursday, be in the room in Vancouver. Segment your list. You segment your list according to what people buy, according to the onboarding survey that you give them when they come into your list. Okay. Question from Sissy. I have a book in me, but it's very, very research intense. It would take me many years to research and write it. I'm also trained as a coach, so I'm starting to build my audience for my coaching work. And my book marries my research and my coaching work. Any wisdom about the timeline of birthing your first book? Oh, sister, that all depends on you. When to take my time and when to push faster. There's a couple answers to this. Take the one that works for you. One is being in sync with the seasons and your body and letting your push work with the earth. Crossing the finish line, taking on more projects in the winter of your life, in your winter season, not the best time. It's time for gestating. It's time for rest and relaxation. It's time for recapitulation. So there's that. There's also creating a rhythm with, so I used to have a joke with some other author friends, like, you've always got 5 books on the go. There's the book that you wrote that is backlisted and discontinued and no one's ever going to hear about it again. There's the book that's just that you wrote that's backlisted and some people are still buying it and the publisher is still carrying it. And then there's the book that you released that's not backlisted that people are buying and it's really visible. Then there's the book, the manuscript is finished and it's coming out like a year to 24 months from now. You've got the deal for that. And then there's the book that you're actually writing. And then there's the next book and the next book and the next book. So do you have more than one book in you? And the big question I would ask yourself, Sissy, is, so, what you're saying is you've got something really research intensive to create. Could your book be a course before it's an actual printed book? Could it be a membership? Could it be an event? Could you be sort of sharing your research about your topic in real time, unfolding in the public with what you're creating? And is there any revenue stream to attach to any of that? The answer is yes, there's always revenue streams to attach to that. The way I'm wired is I write quickly. I've actually never started a book from scratch. So if I'm creating a book, it's something that I've been doing classes, courses, and programs on for at least a year. I've been talking about it on all the socials. I gather all my content. I come up with my creative spine, and there's my book. And then I take 6 months to 9 months to actually do the writing. So the lifespan of a book for me, of creating a book, is anywhere between a year to 3 years. So with my new book, Bless and Release, daniellelaporte.com/bless, that was about a 3-year project. So I'd been writing about letting go. I'd been getting into the physics of blessing and releasing, of letting go, of creativity, of manifestation. I'd been teaching about it. I decided I wanted to work with an agent. We shopped that book to other publishers. I didn't find the fit that I wanted. I walked away from a deal. I walked away from my agency at the same time. I was like, I'm going rogue. I'm going to do this myself. But stem to stern, 3-year project. Also, Sissy, research, writing your book. It's one of the beautiful things with AI. So let's talk about AI for a second. AI is your curator. It's not your creator. Not everybody is going to make their own choices. And there's all sorts of ethical debates alive and well about this. I tell you how I use AI in our business and in terms of my creativity. Specifically with the Bless and Release book that's coming out, that's out in audio. There isn't one sentence, not one sentence in a 50,000 word book that is created by AI. I just feel ridiculous that I even have to say that. We used AI. So we did the world's largest survey on what people want to let go of. I think it's the world's largest survey because it's the world's only survey on what people want to let go of. And we definitely used AI to curate that. This is my manuscript for Bless and Release. It's going to be way sexier. It's going to be this bright yellow paperback book. So we dropped all the results from the Letting Go survey into AI and asked it to do some pattern recognition and collation, basically, like out of these thousands of answers of what people want to let go of, what are the top 5 patterns? And you can find out what they are in Bless and Release. Okay, next question around content creation and publishing. Other ways to do an audiobook besides Audible or on ACX. Yes, other ways to do it is you could do it as well, you could do it as a free podcast. I can tell you a story about that. Or you could build an app where you'd have to obviously get approved with Apple, the App Store. People could consume the audio form of your book in your app. It's a pretty easy fix. Okay. Next question about all things content creating and publishing. From Melanie, I would like to discuss IP, intellectual property. I'm unsure if it's wise to trademark. When do I trademark? When do I just let it go? This is just how I work. This is just like a personality thing. I just don't worry about trademarks that much. I don't care. I don't care. There's so many ways that if you are really owning your brand and you've got enough content in the space that no one can mess with you. Like, I did not trademark. Maybe I should not tell you this. There's one book I wrote out of 6 books, and I did not trademark a concept. And I found out someone was doing these certain kind of workshops in Australia. And I just wrote them a letter and said, you can't do that. You cannot do a workshop based on my book. And you know you can't do that. So please stop doing that, or we will send you a cease and desist letter from the lawyer. So I would just like have a human connection first, and then say, you're going to hear from my lawyer next. Why do I need to share? Okay. So I have done the trademarking route with other things. It's never worth it. I haven't had to go after people for using my stuff. And, yeah, it just wasn't worth the legal money. It wasn't worth waiting for the documents to come in the mail. I'd bring in other people into my orbit and just who are more litigiously minded than I am. And they're just like, you got to trademark this. Do I? So let me give you another example of trademark and what you can and cannot do. So, I've started a new app called Centering. It's very nascent right now. It's in baby form. By the end of the year, it's going to be like this bigger thing. It's going to be a framework for your spiritual practices. But right now, the Centering app, you just go to daniellelaporte.com/centering or go into the Apple Store. Just look for the yellow dot. Look for the big yellow dot. The Bless and Release book is where you can go to listen to and read the digital version of the book in the framework of this app. You can actually not trademark a verb. I cannot trademark the word centering. This is a very fresh conversation, seeing how we just created the app, right? Just like Calm, big app everybody's heard of, Calm is not trademarked. So what Calm does as a business entity, so that no one's going to go start another meditation app called Calm, is it trademarks its font and its visual branding. And that is enough, with also having a successful business of hundreds of thousands and millions of subscribers, that no one's going to go after the Goliath of that brand, but is actually not a trademarkable brand, which is pretty fascinating. But that's my orientation, is mostly don't worry about trademark. And sometimes you got to call a lawyer and nail that stuff down. Okay, from Helen, recommendations and tips on distribution if you're self-publishing. Yes, we are using Ingram, and I know there are other options, and maybe David could drop that in. David, where you're adding questions, what are the other options to Ingram? Okay. I will circle back with an answer for you, Christy. Helen. Okay, another question from Christy with a K. How do I get in-person speaking opportunities before the book comes out? Oh, you do it the old-fashioned way. You go to all of your clients that you've been working with, if they have businesses, and you speak for free. You speak for free. You go for free. You get on podcasts. You continue to build your list and build your platform, your profile. You do exchanges on podcasts. Do you want to be on my podcast? I'll be on your podcast. I mean, I don't love that kind of transactional stuff. But if it's from the right place and you're really feeling resonant and aligned with people, then go for it. Build your profile, your online profile, which is really strengthening your brand. And then that will open the door for speaking gigs. You're going to need to have bunch of speaking gigs and a really strong brand identity, like a strong topic under your belt before you can go get an agent. Um, but an agent might be a great way to go. And also just promote yourself as a speaker. This is such a missed opportunity for a lot of people who are online. Promote yourself as a speaker, just like you're promoting your course and your coaching services and whatever it is that you are using social media to sell. It's like I just saw a great example, a woman named Danielle Leslie. She got on socials this week and said, so her thing was like, I think around being millionaire mindset, entrepreneurship for women. And she's writing a book around being a broke millionaire, how she had this really successful business and was highly visible and then ended up almost bankrupt and all the things no one ever wants to happen to them. And in terms of business. And she put out on socials yesterday that she is looking for a literary agent. And she sold herself. This is how I'm looking for a literary agent. This is what my book is about. This is what my success is based on. I have this amount of people on Instagram. I have this amount of people on my mailing list. All the things that an agent would like to hear. And a lot of people came in and said, I can introduce you to my agent. You should talk to so-and-so. So you could do the same thing with speaking. And I do this like once a year when I'm like, oh, I want to get on more stages this year. I've got this opening in my calendar. I get on, I've got photo of myself on stage. I've got a testimonial underneath that. And then in the feed, I'm just like, email me, DM me, go to daniellelaporte.com/speaking. I don't even know if I have that set up right now. The other thing is speaking referrals. Oh my God, this is turning into a whole workshop. This is what happens. I love the space of all things communication. I will get back to the Q&A and then we'll wrap this up shortly. You could create a speaking referral network for yourself. So a lot of us who are professional speakers, you get off stage at your gig. Hopefully whoever hired you for the speaking gig is happy with your offering, your performance, your talk. And then, what you want to say is like, hey, I want to come back next year and speak, and I want you to pay me my $800 or my $5,000 or my 50 grand, whatever it is. And they go, well, we don't need you back next year. We need like a fresh face here next year. And then you say, oh, I know who should be on your stage. And you refer them to some of your friends. So I'm currently not in a group like this, but I was in a group like this where we had a GDoc. And we were actually tracking where we were speaking and who of the group we were recommending. Like when someone got off the stage at Google or Adobe, who we were recommending speak at their conference next year. Okay, more questions coming in. Answered that one. Answered that one. Okay, I think we got them all. Okay, some fresh questions coming in. So for everybody joining, just some context. I'm answering questions about content creating, marketing, and all things publishing. I have agented, I have been agented, I have self-published, I've done hybrid, I've been with some of the top 5 publishers, I've done traditional, I've sold $20 million of offerings, planners, content, courses, all the things. Next Thursday is May 7th. I am doing an in-person event in Vancouver. It is worth the airfare if you need to fly in. Go to daniellelaporte.com/publish. I've got room for 5 scholarships. I'm going to give 50% off for the scholarships. And it's going to be at the Conscious Lab in Vancouver. It's in the morning, 8:30 to 12. And it's worth it. Okay. Alternatives to getting distribution with Ingram: Lulu, Booksby, BookBaby, and Amazon KPD. I'll give those to you again. So there's Ingram / Ingram Spark, Lulu, Booksby, Books, BY, Book Baby, and Amazon KPD. One of the reasons to be on Amazon is because one of the functions of Amazon is just like a big search engine in the sky. I mean, people are going on and they're just like new parenting, divorce, business building, and you want to be coming up in those searches. Okay, question. What microphone do you recommend? So, oh, that's funny. I didn't even plug my mic in. I didn't plug it into my phone for the Instagram people. Sorry. Okay, sorry. So I have this stand. You can buy this on Instagram. It's like 100-ish something dollars. Comes with this little mic. And then it comes with that mic guard. So really just that's the mic. Can everybody see that? That's the mic. And I record everything. I recorded my whole book, Bless and Release, DanielleLaporte.com/bless. Go get it. It's just sitting right here in my fun bun. And my podcast is recorded on my phone with this microphone. Had 2 million downloads. Top 0.5% podcast in the world on my phone. Never done a video podcast. So many friends, they got podcast studios, they get their eyelashes on. It's called Assure. The mic is called Assure. Shure. They get the lighting and everything to do their video podcasts. And a year later, they're just like, bag this. It's too much work. And I'm like, I know, stay audio. Stay audio. Okay. Any other quick questions? And we're going to wrap. So before any questions come in, this is all you need to know with links and all these things. Vancouver, next Thursday, in person, me, publish event. Get here. Go to DanielleLaporte.com/publish. We just set aside 5 seats for scholarships, which are 50% off, which is pretty rad. Bless and Release. Really just watch how I launch this book. So the book is available, DanielleLaporte.com/bless. It's an audio and it's an ebook. It's in digital. And you listen to or read that book inside my app. That's a genius move, by the way. And then the book, I'm doing it all in reverse because I'm self-publishing. The book is coming out in print, just in paperback, in June. And that's when I'll do more media around all of that. It's a much more sane way. I'm not doing a New York Times bestseller campaign for this. Any in-person events in New York coming up? I should do one. I will do one. Sometime this year, I'm going to go do something in New York. I'm definitely going to do a Bless and Release event in New York. And I would love to do a half-day publish event in New York. That'd be so fun. I love this content. Okay, loves. You know where to find me. One comment here from Robin on Substack about trademarking. This apparently has legal certainty. If you want to trademark something, you register, mail it to yourself. You have to sign for it, and then you don't open it. That apparently, so it's like, this is my manuscript. This is my product line. This is my name. I have heard that does work, but may we just always be safe and sane in all the content that we create. Okay. DM me, just DM me. You know where to find me. Everybody, Substack, Instagram, YouTube, where else are we? We're on Facebook. I'm so glad that you're here on this beautiful day. Go write, go create, make your things, be of service to the world. DanielleLaporte.com/publish or /bless. Thank you so much. Love, love.